YouTube. So I got my new motor, the Ghoul RC 2948 4800 kV brushless, and I'm going to show you guys how I installed it in my L969. All right, so one of the first things, these connectors, these are I think 4mm bullet connectors, which are bigger than what usually comes on a 35 amp, which is what I run in a couple of my L9 by 9 vehicles. In one of them, I have a 45 amp ESC that came with bigger connectors that I actually changed and made to the smaller ones. I believe, if I'm remembering correctly. So yeah. So anyway, so what I've done is I had a couple from some burn up ESCs. I had a couple of wires, that I could salvage, and I made some little adapter wires. So these are, I think, 3.5mm if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me because I'm not sure. But anyway, so all right, hold on. All right, so the first thing you're going to want to do, let's see if we can see them. There's two screws down there. There's one of them you can see, and there's another one right here. You got to remove those. We're going to be taking out the gearbox. So also, you're going to want to remove these two screws on the bottom side. And then after you do that, what I usually do is I'll go in here and just pop the tie rod here. I'll just pop it off. So after you get the gearbox out, there's 4 screws in these recessed holes here. You want to take those out also. Alright, so after you crack open the gearbox, you can see I don't use any oil in it because every time I have, it just seems to strip quicker. So anyway, you got the rear differential for the 2-wheel drive. You got there's a pin right there. Make sure not to lose that holds the reduction gear. So okay, so you're gonna want to take basically just take the 2 gears out, and then remove the pinion, and then remove the motor. Okay, so I wanted to show the size difference of these 2 motors. This one I believe is a 2838, and it's a 4500 kV, and it's really not a bad motor. I think it got this L969 with 3S moving at about 44, 45, something like that. So it's a pretty good motor. I would recommend that motor also. The Ghoul RC boat motor is going to be tougher on the gears. See, it's got these cooling vent holes in the back, I guess is what they are. Alright. Okay, one other thing. Next, you want to install your motor, the new motor. You're going to want to be sure that the screws are the same. I believe this uses M3 or 3M. I don't know what exactly they call it, but I think that's what it uses. And I think the L969 stock comes with smaller screws, so you might have to upgrade that or get new ones. Another thing, you can see here with the holes where the motor fits on. This is very weak, soft metal, so it's going to happen, especially if you use different size pinion gears and try to adjust, make the holes a little bigger, or slide it kind of over so that you can fit the different size pinion gears. So anyway, I think it's still usable. I'm probably going to put some washers on over the screws to keep it from chewing into this metal plate anymore. Alright. Alright, there's another thing I just noticed, which I didn't take into account when purchasing this. Didn't really think about it. Usually I'm able to mod things that are like this because it's pretty easy for me, but you do want to be careful. As I said, this is soft metal, but the issue is the holes on the motor are a different they're different distance apart. which is it's a little bit wider on the new motor. So I'm going to have to put some new holes in it from side to side to fit this motor. So I'm going to do that real quick. Hold on. So alright, this has turned out to be more trouble than I expected because there's a few things, and I'm going to tell you. The shaft on this motor was round. It didn't have a flat side. I don't know why. The 3660 boat Ghoul RC boat motor that looks identical, just different size. It has a flat side on the shaft, so I don't know. So what I did, so I took I have a little orbital sander, and I sanded kind of a flat spot. You can kind of see it there to the left, I think. Yeah, because there's the pinion down there, so it's like. So anyway, I think I gotta I think I think that ought to work out okay. Um, this reduction gear is probably going to need replacing soon. What I did, the holes are exactly on the new motor are exactly 3/4 inches from center to center. So as you can see, I tried one time. I had didn't work out very well, so actually the reason why I moved them was because the reduction gear has that gear on the other side, which turns the differential there, and it was in the way. I should have, noticed that before I started, but I didn't. So anyway, so I put some green Loctite on this because that's all I had. Because I know this motor, I can tell it's got a lot of torque. It's I can it feels it's kind of harder to turn than any other motor I have. So all right, so yeah, I've got one spare spur gear, so or a spur gear, reduction gear. It's got the two gears. That's why I'm pretty sure they call it reduction. So, but it's anyway. I've got a spare if this one chews up. So, all right. I think it's the sun came up for a little while. It's getting a little bit into the evening. There may be time for a test run, so I'm gonna see what I can do. I'm gonna get this thing put back together now. After that, you just put it back together. That's all there is to it. It's just them four screws for the gearbox, and make sure you get your dog bones in there. And yeah, you should be all right. All right, guys. I'll be back with a test run.